Hello and welcome to the Banker's Top 1000 series for 2021. I'm John Everington, the African and Middle East editor for The Banker, and I'm delighted to be joined today by Joy Macknight, our editor. Hi there, Joy.
Hi, John.
So the data has been compiled, the figures are out, the tables are published. What's the big story for the Top 1000 as a whole?
Well, I think the biggest story is really that the banks that are in our rankings has really withstood the test of the COVID-19 pandemic. Across the year, they managed to add 13% to their Tier 1 capital, bringing it up to $9.9 trillion, which is the most ever. They've also managed to add to their asset base by 16%, as well as their gross deposits grew by 17%. So all across the world, what we've seen is actually quite a resilient banking system. The other big story, obviously, is a story that has been going on for the last couple of years, which is really the dominance of the Chinese banks. And the Chinese banks have really been the growth engine of the banking industry this year. The top 4 Chinese banks now have almost double the amount of Tier 1 capital that the top 4 US banks have. So all in all, a super positive story this year. Obviously, profits are a bit down. What we found is that 78 countries still made profits. And just obviously, they're a bit less than last year. But compared to the global financial crisis, global profits were down about 18%. Whereas during the global financial crisis 2009, they dropped by 85%. So it's a huge difference. But we're really here to talk about the Middle East. Which banks came out on top of the Middle East rankings this year?
So it's interesting within the Middle East. Some other regions, you have the same bank at the top of the rankings for many, many years in a row. We've had a few changes over the years within the Middle East because of consolidation and mergers and acquisitions and things like that. This year, we've got the same bank at the top of the rankings, which is Qatar National Bank. It's been at the top for the last 3 years. This is its third year. Slightly less glowing performance than it had maybe last year, which is to be expected because of the impact of COVID. Its Tier 1 capital base increased by just 3.3%, which is still quite a good achievement, but a little bit lower than it was before. So that's Qatar National Bank still at the top of the rankings.
But which banks would you say have seen the most improvements over the last year?
It's been interesting that actually it's Saudi Arabia and the banks there which are really kind of the engine of growth within the Middle East. I mean, Saudi is one of the largest economies within the Middle East. And the banks are really kind of taking advantage of a boom in mortgage lending, which is going on. This is a government initiative. They're trying to kind of get Saudi citizens to be able to be homeowners, and they're really encouraging banks to lend to Saudi citizens. So the mortgage market is just booming and is really going through the roof. The big story this year is National Commercial Bank. It was 4th in the rankings last year. It's overtaken both First Abu Dhabi Bank and Emirates NBD of the UAE to become the 2nd position now. Its loan book has grown significantly. Customer deposits have grown by 17.8%. The loan book grew by 23%, and this is off the back of this mortgage boom that we've been seeing. What's going to be really interesting is going to be next year's rankings, because not only has NCB done extraordinarily well off its own back, earlier this year, it finalised its agreement with Samba Bank. Samba, which grew from 7th position in this year's ranking to 6th, they've merged. They're creating a new entity called Saudi National Bank, and that bank is going to be the largest bank in the Middle East in terms of these current figures. It's going to overtake QNB next year, and we think it may well even crack the top 60.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for your insights, John.
No problem.